I want to welcome everybody to this webinar. That's all the audience and the panelists and all the people behind the scenes who've made this panel able to be projected. So welcome everybody to this panel. One of the reasons for, and this panel is called Love All, Serve All, a clarion call for unity through love. It's important to understand that the unity and love have to go together because anybody can be unified, but the idea of unifying with love is something very, very important. One of the reasons for me being interested in this project is that I've seen so much disunity, and all of us have seen so much disunity in the world. So, and even in the Psi organization, there have been splittings. So people that we have formerly loved and gotten along with well have turned into people that we've been dissatisfied with. Not very, very good. So we've decided that we wanted to be involved in something that promotes and supports unity. That's a very important thing, this whole idea about unity. Now, we've done a visit of some of the discourses that Swami has said over the past 10 years, all of the discourses that Swami has said over the past 10 years, and he's mentioned unity by far more than any other item, any other subject that has been mentioned. This whole idea about unity. So for sure, we want to underscore the idea that unity is very, very important. And so we've had a panel, a group of panelists that will speak about what unity means to them. I'll speak a little bit about unity, what unity means to me. And here is Sai Baba saying something about unity. And I wonder if we can put up this image of Swami saying something about unity and how important it is.
There is need for unity.
ఏకత్వంలో మన ఆనందం ఇమిడి ఉంటుండాలి.
The entire bliss lies in unity.
ఐకమత్యమే సుఖము అన్నారు అనేటువంటి ధైర్యము, ఆనందము, ఉత్సాహము, ప్రోత్సాహాన్ని కూడా నువ్వు చేకూరుస్తుంది.
Unity is joy, delight and happiness. Unity brings about the welfare of all people. With unity, any stupendous task and Himalayan Herculean task could be accomplished.
అందరూ ఐకమత్యంగా పనిచేసి ఎంతటి కార్యాన్నైనా మనం చిన్న చిన్న చీమలన్నీ చేరి పెద్ద సర్పాన్ని కూడా చంపేస్తుండేది మనం చేస్తున్నాం.
We can see even small ants by coming together can kill even a big snake.
కనుక మానవత్వం అనేటువంటి ఐకమత్యంగా ఉంటుంటే మనం సాధించలేనటువంటిది ఏమిటి ఈ జగత్తులో?
If there is unity among humanity, is there any work which cannot be accomplished at all?
ఐకమత్యం ఎప్పుడు మనకు లభిస్తుంది?
When can we get that unity?
The last question Swami is asking, when can we get that?
There is need for unity.
And Swami says there is a need for unity right from the beginning. There's a need for unity. Where can we get that unity? And that's what this webinar is all about. What is this unity? How can we support this unity in our lives? Even the smallest little smile and the biggest little activity that we can do, whatever we can do, should support this unity. So I'm going to start by telling this little story that happened to me in the early part of 1980s. I was invited by Swami into a meeting. I didn't know why, between Dr. Goldstein and Dr. Hislop. Now, this was a time when Hislop and Goldstein were arguing and were upset with each other. They were very strong personalities and they were upset with each other. And they were arguing even over the internet. So this was a problem. And so Swami listened patiently to them. And then he said, near the end of the time that we're going to be meeting, he said, you have to listen to me. You represent me, and you must get along. You must get along. You represent me, and you must get along. Well, that has great meaning to all of us, because all of us represent Swami in the way we deal, the way we relate to each other the way we are with each other. Swami has said, but you represent me. Representing Swami is something very, very special, and you must get along. So I'm going to tell you something now, another piece of information. In 1983, Swami gave me an extraordinary miracle, and I'll tell you a little bit about this. This miracle was I had been treating a patient for 6 years, 12,000 miles away from Swami, who was in India, and I'm in San Diego. And I've been treating this patient for 6 years, so I knew what she understood. I knew what she knew. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, she begins to speak Sanskrit. Now, I don't know if you understand how unusual that is, but for somebody to begin to speak Sanskrit, and then not only was she speaking Sanskrit and other Sanskrit-related languages, she was able to say things and concepts that were way beyond her understanding, and I understood that. I could understand some of it, not all, but some of it, but she couldn't understand anything. And then I worked with somebody from San Diego State University, a scholar in Sanskrit, who all his life had been trained in Sanskrit. He grew up in Nepal, and he got an undergraduate degree and a graduate degree at the University of Martin Luther King in Germany. And then he came and he worked with San Diego State University. He worked at San Diego State University. That's where I found him. And he had a PhD by that time, and he was a professor, and he was working in the religious studies department. And we went through all of the 14 messages that this young lady retrieved, and they were extraordinary. Each one had its own meaning, and all together was a statement about how important unity is. And when there is disunity, when the mind forces us to disunify, then there's great sorrow and great sacrifice that goes on, great sorrow. So I want to tell you just a couple of the messages. One is that the mind is the cause of the suffering. One time, my wife asked the Swami, "What about the suffering, and how can we handle that?" And Swami said, "The world is perfect, but the mind of man causes us to suffer." And then in this one message, it says that the mind is all ego and cannot be believed. The mind is all ego and is not real. Brahman, or the Holy One, is the cause and the basis of the entire world. And this is very, very important for us to understand, that it's Brahman that is the basis of the world. Well, with that statement and with this understanding that unity is that important to us, and unity with love is that important, I want to say one more quick story. When I was doing my third book, I brought it to Swami and I said, "Swami, what do you think about the title of this book, God is Man?" And Swami wrote in the word man is God. In the word man, he wrote, "With love, man is God. With love, man is God." So this is very, very important, that we must be unified, and for the brothers and sisters that we've sort of detached from, we must be unified with them, and we must be unified with love. And we'll talk later about this love. Well, now let's look at the Sarvadharma prayer that's said frequently at the ashram in India about the unification of all religions. Yes, there's somebody want to say something? So let's look at this, the Sarvadharma prayer, and Warner Vasquez, who's one of the panelists here, will speak about that. If we can put that up on the screen. So it looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Can Can you read anything, Warner,
Yeah.
from the screen?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Thou art that. You are Narayana, God in the form of man. You are the embodiment of perfection and the perfect teacher. You are the enlightened Buddha. You are Subramanya and Ganesha, the remover of obstacles. You are the sun fire that destroys the darkness of ignorance. You are Brahma, the creator, Mazda, the great one. You are Jehovah and Divine Mother, the creative energy. You are the father of Jesus. You are Rudra, the transformer, and Vishnu, the preserver. You are Rama and Krishna. You are Rahim, all kindness, always giving and expanding. You are the Tao. You are unparalleled and one without a second, beyond time and fearless. You are Shiva, the Atmalingam, symbol of formless.
Jai Saram. Thank you so much, Warner. That was a beautiful recitation of the prayer, which brings us to the idea, because Swami said to both Goldstein and Hislop that now you represent me and you must get along. Is there some aspect of divinity or divinity itself in the form of love that is so expansive and so great that all religions and all people are one and related as brothers and sisters, as a family underneath this one great umbrella of love? That's what we're thinking about, and that's what we're going to be talking about. And I want to introduce Viru Mudaganda, who's going to be leading the panel discussion on unity and unity with love. Now, Viru was a early student of Swami's in the early days when Swami just began his university called the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. And then in 1979, that's almost 40 years ago, or it is more than 40 years ago, in 1979, he created in the UK what was called the Sri Satya Sai Charitable Trust. Now, he chose as the chairperson of this charitable trust, Viru Buddhaganda. And Viru, we're so lucky to have Viru with us, who we love so much. His brother has given his life to Sai Baba. And he's going to be leading the panel discussion and we'll say a few words about unity. So let me hand it off to you, Viru.
Sairam, everyone. Welcome to this webinar, and thank you very much, Sam, for leading it and focusing all our minds on unity. So Swami started this trust in UK in 1979. By that time, I was only 11 years old. I became a chairman much later in UK once I finished my studies and moved to work in the United Kingdom. So this trust here, Swami's instruction at that time for starting this trust was spread the message of love. That was it. The trust was formed to spread the message of love. And we all know that Swami's message is love all, serve all. And in that, we probably need to focus a little bit on what does all mean? Where does this all begin? And where does this all end? Is there a beginning and end at all? Swami didn't say love only some and serve only some. He said love all, serve all. And that's the message that is there on his Mahasamadhi even today. So that's an important message for all of us. And as a group of panelists, when we discuss it, the way to realize this unity which Swami tells us about is only through love and love in action. So love, you could harbor a lot of it in your heart, but it has to be put into action. which is service. And only then you will be able to realize, you would be able to experience this expanded sense, expanded feeling of unity. I think it perhaps is a process. Um, as Swami says, expansion is my life. So you bring in more and more and more people into this orbit of love, and that's what makes us experience this unity. Um, we all are. It's very easy to speak. I find it very easy to speak, but when it comes to putting it into practice, however best you try, sometimes many things overtake that good intention. Um, I remember once I was in Swami's presence. He came to my city, Hyderabad, and Swami was visiting a dignitary, and I was part of these boys who were like the motorcycle escorts to Swami. And so we went to this, high-ranking official, a judge of the High Court, to his house, and we parked our motorcycles. Swami got out of the car, and then he came to me and said, "Hey, where's your brother?" So I have a younger brother, and he plays tabla, and he was playing tabla at the bhajans in Swami's residence, which is called Shivam. So I said to Swami, Swami, he's playing tabla in Shivam. And then Swami said, "Hey, all these people, they're not your brothers." So it's very easy, or it's, for us to say love all, but to actually feel it in the Sai circles, Sai organization, Sai family, we call each other brother and sister. Sometimes we put a capital as well, brother Viru, brother Sam. But are we actually, relating to each other in the true sense of that word? So, and Swami always used to say, he is the Bhavapriya, which means he is the one who admires, who likes the innermost feelings, not the Bahya Priya. Bahya meaning the outer aspect. It's not what I say, but it's actually what I feel. And Swami is very, very sensitive to each and every feeling that we have. And Swami responds. We all have had many experiences where Swami responds straight away to an inner thought, inner feeling. So I think this webinar is here to explore how we, as having been born as human beings, which is one of the rarest of the rare chances that we have got, and then having been connected to Swami, the avatar, the Purna avatar, who has come down on earth to spend time with us and to enrich our lives. Having had those opportunities, why are we all here and what are we doing individually and collectively? I think it's an important thing for every Sai devotee, for everyone in this world, to reflect and contemplate upon. And I think that probably is the only way in which a change will happen within ourselves, and then a change will happen in the world. So, um, so having spoken about these initial, sort of observations or initial thoughts, I would like to get more out of my co-panelists. And today we have, I think there's some technical issues. One or two of the panelists haven't yet joined, I can see. But here we have, obviously, Dr. Sam Sandwise. Himself is the leading panelist. We have got Sharon by his side, who we can see clearly. Hi, Sharon, Sairam. And then we have got, we heard Warner Vasquez, I think, and then we have got Gary Yoder and Sharon, Judy Sandweiss. I think we have one or two others, John Johnson, Dr. John Johnson, who hasn't yet been able to join us. Am I right, Partha?
That's right,
I
Veer.
think you're right. Yes.
It seems as if we're unable to get the additional panelists to join. There's some technical difficulty, and my mom said that Swami must be laughing because this is his best laid plans. It always goes differently, right? Just the way it's supposed to go. So we will probably just have us here today.
Yes. Okay.
And we have a question from Siri, and the question is very appropriate. It says, how can we implement unity in everyday life with so many things happening around us, physically, mentally, and more important, spiritually?
But I may just jump in here for a second. We do have attendees who are watching in. There are 33 attendees who are watching in on this meeting. So I don't know why we can't see them. We'd love to see them, but that's what we do have, even though we have technical difficulties.
Yeah, and I hope that perhaps Dr. Johnson could join as an attendee, perhaps, and we still be able to have the benefit of his contribution to this webinar. He has had some beautiful contributions, which we'll come to talk about a bit later. So hopefully he'll still be able to join the webinar today. That's a very, very good question, isn't it, Judy? This is something that, as I said, I think we all face that with the best intentions. So, when I say Swami tests us, Swami is in the world as well. Swami is in every situation and circumstance we face, and those are the times when he tests us. Do we walk the talk? How committed are we to walk that talk? So those are the tests that we all face. So the question I'm trying to read. Sorry, Judy, would you mind saying the question again, repeating the question?
Yes. How can we implement unity in everyday life with so many things happening around us physically, mentally, and more important, spiritually? And I'll add to that, there's a lot of chaos and craziness happening with our leaders and with just people in society and everything happening. So how do we implement unity? How do we do that in our thought and our words and our deeds?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question to start with. I think sometimes we know the answers, because I'll put it in the sort of in the reverse, and I would say, what is it that stops us from recognizing this unity? What are these different layers, these barriers, these challenges we face? If we identify those, then we can work towards removing them from, from each one of us. And it is only when there is all of us linked up in that way that there'll be a change in the world, isn't it? That's what it is. So we have a very interesting poll that we would like to take. And I think that will give a little bit of an idea about how do we implement unity. So Parth, if we poll question, and then we would like all the participants to take part in it. And perhaps Partha could tell us what we need to do to participate.
Yes, Veer brother. So we are going to put the poll in a few minutes, and then all you need to just do is to respond, pick one option from the responses, and that should be, oh, we have got John. Fantastic. That's a brilliant news. Okay. So so the participants would just need to select one of the responses from the options provided, and that would record the answer, and that we would look at the results in a short while. Thank you.
So,
Meanwhile, you can continue with the panel, Veerbrother. Thank
oh,
you.
I see. Okay. So please let us know when you're ready to. So you're actually conducting the poll as we are talking, because we can't see the poll.
That's right. So when the poll is up, the participants would get some time to go through that, be able to respond
Yeah.
with the option selected, and once we close the poll, then Judy would announce the results.
Okay. So I'll wait for you
Yeah.
to let us know as we. So okay, I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. John Johnson onto this panel. Although it has been delayed a bit, it's wonderful to have you, John, and welcome to the panel. So the question was, how do we implement unity in our lives when we are faced with so many challenges around us all the time? So that's a question, and I would like perhaps some of the panelists to share what they might have done in order to overcome those challenges, and how did they experience that unity. In the meantime, I would also request the participants, if you have got any suggestions on how you were able to experience that unity, what you did in your life, you can always put it in the chat box. Thank you. So I would start with Sharon, I think. So Sharon, how do you put in this unity into practice? Because I know Swami has shared multiple times with you in the interview rooms on many aspects.
Well, this morning is a perfect example of what can happen in life. It's all the time, expect the unexpected, he always says. He tells us we have to be like lions. We have to be strong. We have to be resourceful. We have to be brave. And we have to keep focused on him, on God, on divinity. My way is to speak to him, to keep in touch, because we can be if we're looking outward, and we have to, because we are in this body. He says that we have to refine ourselves by engaging in the world. So that is the whole process. And he tells us how to do it. You have to be calm, you have to be patient, you have to have equanimity, you have to calm yourself. There are breathing exercises, talking to Swami, that's what I do. We've had the opportunity to be with Swami and see how joyful, how playful, how loving, how supportive, how encouraging with our daughters, how sweet, and then reprimanding me a little bit. Fighting with husband. What? Yes. He was very sweet, but he said, yes, a small seed grows into a big tree. Love and kindness in the seed, or anger. We can be very angry and reactive to the world. So I think for the person who asked this question, to keep centered in Baba, he says, repeat his name, talk to him, and then realize that the world that you're in right now is the way that we are refining ourselves all the time. Refining, we're like little rough stones that are rubbing and rubbing against our egos, effacing them until finally, hopefully, we see that love that shines out, that's pure. So I would say to that person, focus on your immediate surroundings, the people around you, your family. He says the family is the center of the world, and many people try to fix the world and not their family. So focus on whether it's a Sai family, the work where you work. See if you can find some people with common cause and be unified with them, and that gives you the strength. Being in the community, as Sam told that story about Hislop, he did it. We were with him also when he had a father and a son who were just sitting like this, and they were not talking to each other. You could see they were fighting. And Swami was so sweet and so patient. He was showing us, modeling how we should be with one another. He talked to one, and I think it was in Telugu, so we couldn't understand it, but you could see speaking that they poured out their grievances to Swami and to one another. And then finally, just Swami just made them, by the sheer love and encouragement and sweetness, made them start talking to each other. That's the family. That's the way we have to relate. To listen to listen to one another, to talk with one another, and then we have to just do that thing that's really hard, sacrifice and compromise. So I hope that helped. That's what I do. Keep in touch, read, think about him, and then focus on your immediate world and give all the love that you can, and you'll find it coming right back to you. Jay
Thank you.
Tyrone.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
sorry
you
if I
very
talk too long. I get really excited about it because I think people need to be reminded all the time that he's with us, within us.
That's wonderful. I mean, to keep centered on Sai, to keep talking to Swami all the time. I think that's a wonderful way to how do we experience unity in our life despite the challenges. I think that's one wonderful take-home point. Thank you. So, if I may ask, Gary, how do you talk to Swami, and how do you keep centered on Swami in your life?
Yes, thank you, Hero. Yes, I do. And daily, every day, for many years, I start my day off talking with Swami and with a prayer, Dear Swami, let me offer everything that I do today, everything that I think and speak to you, and to please you. As Sharon said, knowing that he is always around me and within me, and that everyone I meet is also the same way, is with Swami, that everyone hears me. So when I am in the world and dealing with things, I meet other people and I can relate to Swami through them by serving them. Now, many years ago, I met Swami in 1976 when there were 12 of us from the San Diego Sri Satya Sai Baba Center that went to Dharmakshetra in Bombay, at Mumbai. So there was Swami. We were with him for 5 days. And he gave me the basis of unity at that time. He gave a discourse on the 5th day. There might have been 5,000, maybe 8,000 people under the tent. And he finished the discourse, and the esteemed Dr. Bhagavantam, the translator, they sat down, and people were standing up. And I turned around, I saw the beautiful banner, the sacred banner at the back of the tent that said, there's only one God and he's omnipresent. There's only one language, the language of the heart, and there's a language of love, and there's only one religion, the religion of love, rather. So I was looking at that and it went to my heart. And Swami came back to the microphone and looked right out at me. Maybe I was a third of the way back in the audience, and repeated that. It emblazoned in my heart and became the basis for the rest of my life understanding unity. Cyril.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Again, I think Swami directly speaking to us on that very powerful, quotations of his, which we all use. And I think this is one of the oldest, when he stated his mission way back in 1968 or even earlier. I think around that time he said this: there's only one language, the language of the heart, and there is only one religion, the religion of love. So that, to anchor into words like that, would help us sort of overcome those situations, or be anchored in this experience or feeling of unity. Thank
Exactly.
you. Thank you very much. I would like to just bring in John as well. John, this idea or this of unity, what does it mean to you, and how do you put it into practice?
Thank you, Vera, and also thank you to Sam for for this. I would respond to that question kind of very directly with Swami's words from the Gita Vihini, excuse me, and he said, to revel in multiplicity is ignorance, and to visualize unity is a sign of wisdom. And that was a very, very simple statement. And then in the Sandeha Vihini, he gave 3 points. Prema, love, should be considered as the very breath of life. And when you think about these kinds of statements, he said, the love that is manifest in all things equally, believe that the same prema is Parama Atma, and the one Parama Atma, which is the supreme self, the infinite reality, is in everyone in the form of prema. So I go back to one very practical, very simple thing based on my experience. And because I have a very complicated family, and we have very interesting differences in our politics and in the way we approach our faith, if you will. I was raised in a very strong Catholic tradition, and so my family does not at all understand my relationship with Swami. And so it was interesting. I've had a recent focus on family, and I came to the realization that unity begins with family. We can think about going out into the world and doing all the selfless service and all of these other things. But if you can't promote unity within your own family, then I've got to take a step back and say, okay, where am I? What am I doing here? What is Swami teaching me? So I begin with family, my immediate brothers and sisters, my mother, and reconciling those differences begins with love, with prema. Love is what unites. Politics divides. So I don't even go there. I just talk about our love. And they had an interesting conversation about with my brother-in-law literally 2 days ago. And I brought that up. I brought up that it's not about our politics, it's about our love. And he got very quiet and agreed because he and I have very significant differences in that arena. But he got so quiet because when I bring it down to love within the family, love with brothers and sisters, love for family, then it spreads out from there. So absolute love above anything else, selfless service to the unity of family, surrendering yourself, sacrificing yourself, and by that I mean giving up differences. It doesn't matter what we think. What matters is what we do in our relationships with our people. So I just want to end there and just say that's kind of my spiel. Sairam.
Thank you. Thank you. I really caught up on this word sacrifice that you used. I feel that, and I would like everyone to correct me if I'm wrong. I feel that if you want to love everyone, then it cannot happen without sacrifice. Sacrifice is a very important aspect of that. And I think the difficulty comes only because we're unable to sacrifice. And then I question, why is it that I'm unable to sacrifice? And that opens up more doors. And that someone like Sam, who is a psychiatrist by profession, will understand the workings of the mind. And I see that Sam started the discussion with the mind being uh, um, the the instrument that overcomes even a loving heart. Unless and until the mind is well sorted, then this aspect of sacrifice, and there are other tendencies or qualities that we all have innately or inherently. Unless those are addressed, it's not, one can't say that uh, I am loving. And if we can't love, then there cannot be unity. So there is a lot of processes that are happening behind these words of unity and love, whether it is in an individual self or it is in the world. And I definitely, Judy again has had multiple experiences with Swami, many things that Swami would have said. So, on this aspect of sacrifice, how do you do it, or what do you think of that particular aspect of achieving unity?
I'd like to just jump in for a second, Viru,
Sure.
about this idea of sacrifice, because it's a very important issue. And I know that in this messages that Swami gave me, in message 12 or 13, I'm not quite sure which one, it says that I or we have to do a sacrifice. Now, what is that sacrifice? Because it's a very, very powerful aspect in my life. See, I'm getting older, so I have to face what is death. Hislop was getting older. He had to face what is death. And maybe it's the giving up of the body. Maybe it's the giving up of the external world that we all put to such division and such differences into the world, into ourselves, into other people. Then we start fighting with them. We have to sacrifice that, this idea that we're a body. When Swami has told us that we're infinite, there's no end to us, that we don't have to be frightened. We don't have to be frightened of death. For instance, Sharon, initially, when her first meeting with Swami, was worried about death. And could you tell the story?
Thank you. Well, that was back in 1972 when we were very young, like we were little kids. But yes, that's always been my worry. And here I had to leave. He wrenched me away from our 4 beautiful young daughters, 5 and under. Can you believe? But we had he became transformed, and I had to see, who is this Sai Baba? So off to India we went for 10 days, and I got, the first thing I said was, blurted out was, what about death, Swami? Because I was I saw that there was nothing. I felt, Sam was always asking, what is the meaning of life? I was afraid to ask, because what if there was no meaning? And Baba was so sweet, and he said, oh, you shouldn't fear death. He said, you merely shed your body like an article of clothing. You're eternal. You never die. It was very comforting. So that is something that lives with me. I don't like Sam talking about the end, but we all have to face it.
but that is the issue, one of the issues. I wouldn't talk about the death easily, except one day General Chibber, who was close to Swami, and he had a high position within the army. He once was with Swami, and Swami said, Sandweiss took good care of Hislop when Hislop was dying. Now, I don't think that he just meant me, but he meant the whole Sai family that was in San Diego started taking care of Dr. Hislop when Hislop was dying, because Hislop lived very close to us. So there were people that came over to take care of his house, some people that took care of his food, and I would visit him frequently. And all the time, Dr. Hislop would chant when he wasn't talking to somebody. He would chant Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram. I wondered why he did such a thing. But the Swami tells us that that's the process in this Kali Yuga for us to stay attached to divinity. Not so much maybe the actual name or a form of divinity, but Swami is encouraging us to go beyond that, to think of the omnipresent divinity, love that can expand so greatly that this love can be every place at all times. And that's what I think Swami means, for us to at least understand that. Think about that. That we don't die. We're something that is our love inside is something that Swami gave us, or that God in any tradition gave us. Maybe Buddha's truth is that love is at the basis. Maybe in Islam, they talk about love, the same kind of love that we talk about in the Jewish religion or in the Hindu religion, or that Swami just talks about as being infinite. That we all love this love. We understand this love, and we must express this love. So one day we came to Dr. Hislop's house, and there were just a few of us who were taking very close care of him, and everybody came at the same time. That's just very unusual, this coincidence where everybody comes at the same time. And I looked around for a little tape recorder that could play some bhajans, because Jack looked like he was in the end stage. He was not conscious. He wasn't responding to pain, and he wasn't talking to anybody. He was very deeply withdrawn into himself. So I wondered, well, maybe some music and some listening to something on a recorder could help. But I couldn't find. I've just found an old recorder, dusty and not even in use. And so I just began to chant Om. Om,
We all did.
Om, and then everybody gathered around and began to chant the Om. Om, Om. And in this Om, which is supposed to be at the basis of all the created universe and beyond, this Om holds everything in it. Om. Later on, I found that the Bhagavad Gita says that this should be chanted when anybody dies. This is the chant that you should have when you pass on from this stage to another stage. And all of a sudden, Jack heard this Om. We could see it in his face. We could see it in his eyes, in his body. He listened like a deer in the that is in the headlights of a car. He all of a sudden was alert, and he listened. And all of a sudden, you could feel that he was leaving his body and he was moving into this Om. I was the only time that I've seen such a very powerful experience of the Om and of Swami leaving. So we should all understand that this is who we are. We're something way beyond this body, and this is what we have to sacrifice. Getting back to Viru's idea about sacrifice, that all of us have to sacrifice. We have to leave this world, the external world that we think is so important, and our own bodies. But where do we go? Well, Swami has told Sharon, and he's told Viru, and he's told me, and has told a lot of us that there's no such thing as death, that we are infinite love. And that's how we should express ourselves, as love. And I know that it's very difficult, but that's how we should express ourselves. And we should try to love even our enemies. It's easy to love our friends. It's hard to love our enemies, but we should try. We should try with this understanding. And if we do with this understanding, that's the best we can do. We have to give it to Swami. Swami, you take care of us. We love you so much. Jai Sai Ram. Thank you, Viru, for letting me jump in.
Thank you, Sam. I can see Judy has got something to say to us.
That is beautiful, Dad. There are some really practical, wonderful questions that have come in, and one is that Siri has, an anonymous person has asked, my husband is asking, how can one focus on unity when or if one is hungry, thirsty, and lacking in love? That is a good question. How can one focus on unity when one is hungry, thirsty, and lacking in love?
Yes, that is indeed a very important question. And I guess unless one has gone through the experience of that, one wouldn't be able to give a very satisfactory answer. Every other answer will be a theoretical answer. If you have actually gone through those, then is the time when some of us can comment on it. I don't know. Um, if we haven't been through that, situations where we haven't been hungry or starving, or we have felt so lonely that we felt completely left out in the universe. Only that experience, the answer coming from that experience, I feel would be the right one. I don't know if any one of us here is experienced enough or qualified enough to actually answer that. The only thing I remember is from Mother Teresa. Um, there is on the streets of Calcutta, a very poor, faggot infested, for want of a better word, beggar, dying on the road, and and mother goes to serve him some food, and just at the at the very sight of the food and everything, this person is so affected that he actually passes away. So, apart from reading something like that, personally, I haven't experienced, but I don't know if anyone on the panel wants to has an answer or has a way of explaining that.
Thank you so much, Vera. I saw that John Johnson had an idea. John.
Yes, sir. I have had the experience of dealing with folks who are very angry, very hungry, and very thirsty, and living in homeless situations. There comes a time when you have to surrender yourself. You feed them, you give them um, something to drink, you give them whatever you can, and you do it with love. And whatever happens, happens. That you accept all of it. You take all of it and let go. The rest is Swami. It's all Swami. So it's all divinity. And so you can't think about consequences. And this is what I think we do. We put conditions on unity. There are no conditions to unity. There's no if you do and then. There's no if then response. Unity is about sacrificing everything, and that includes your response to somebody who may be angry and may even blame you for their situation. And all you can do is do your best and move on and give love to everyone. Sarah.
I wanted to add one thing that we have a lot of homeless in San Diego, and there must be a human need for community. And you see the homeless actually have unity in their little community. So even though they're hungry, they're begging for food there, but you see them how joined together and laughing and sharing dogs and and food. And so I think that is the human impulse, is to reach out to others. So, but John is right that we should do all we can to help the situation.
So, and let me just jump in for a second also. So, if somebody's hungry, then you give food. If somebody's thirsty, then you give drink. I remember Swami telling this story about Shiva. And one time at Mahashivaratri, where Shiva is extolled and loved, Shiva decides to sit in front of a temple with his wife, Parvati, and is an old man, as an old man dying in the arms of Parvati. And he says, please, please, to the people that are coming into the temple, please, please, can you give me a drink of water? And everybody leaves and just goes into the temple because they think they're going to be worshiping Swami or Shiva in the temple. But he's right here in the arms of Parvati. So finally somebody comes in, a thief comes and says, you want some water? Well, let me go get you some. And so he runs and gets some water for this old Shiva. And Shiva drinks and says, well, have you done anything else so good? This is a wonderful, loving act that you've given me. And the thief says, no, I think this is the only thing I've ever done nicely. And Shiva says, yes, but you've given it to me. It was so sweet. I was so happy to have a bit of water. So beautiful. And then he turns into his mighty godly form and says, I grant you moksha or liberation. So it doesn't take much. It just takes us to listen and know if somebody is thirsty and then to give them a drink of water. That's all it takes. It doesn't take very much. Jay Sairam, thank you, Viru.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Sam, and thanks everyone for sharing those thoughts on this, slightly difficult idea of how do we experience unity when one is suffering hunger, thirst, and loneliness. And I think we have given examples of from various places and people, homeless people or beggars and various other people, even in our own family. So I think that's an important question, and I hope to some degree we were able to reflect on that question for the one who asked us. And Judy is coming up. I can see her hand going up.
Yes, we had a poll. The poll questions, when you encounter someone whose beliefs differ greatly from yours, what is your honest first reaction? 27% responded curiosity and openness. 15% responded mild discomfort but willing to engage. That was me. 58% responded desire to find common ground. And 0% uncertainty about how to connect. So this goes along with the question that somebody asked as well, which is an excellent question. Anita Chari asked, some of us have family members who are estranged and will not communicate with us. How can we practice unity when others do not want to receive us? This is a difficult question. This is the crux, isn't it? Does anybody want to answer that one?
Yeah, I mean, unity in family is important, isn't it? I mean, Swami says that when there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in character. When there is beauty in character, there is, I think, peace in the family. And when there is peace,
Harmony in the home. Harmony in the home.
harmony. Yeah, go on. Go, please go on. Was that Warner?
It was Sam, but Warner can continue.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So please carry on.
Harmony in the home. That's where we were. Do you know the rest of the quote?
The rest of the quote.
Yeah, when there is beauty in character, there is harmony at home, and when there is harmony in the home, there is
Peace in
order.
the society,
Yes.
Peace in the nation.
the nation.
It's in the world. Yes.
And when there's peace in the nation, there'll be peace in the world. Something like that.
Yeah, and I think so. I think this aspect of having making a lot of effort within the family to maintain that harmony and unity were both emphasized by Sharon and John as well. And so, yes, it is difficult, but then it's very heartening to see that 58% were saying that we would not disengage, but we would try and connect and find common ground. Maybe that is the starting point in any in building any relationship, especially within the family, I think.
Well, especially in our family, because here we are putting on a webinar, and all of a sudden we're having technical difficulties. And how do we handle it? Well, we just do it with a smile. You've got a beautiful smile.
Go with
Everybody
the flow.
has a smile, and then we go with the flow of it.
Go
Just go with the flow and offer it to Swami.
But on the practical level, I think if that is in the situation, John explained how he deals with his family, brother they have very strong differing opinions, but you offer as much love and maybe keep on don't give up. Show that you're happy and look at your own self. Am I in any way responsible for the conflict? Am I somehow looking, do they think I'm judging them in some way? So I think all the time is if everything is a reflection of us, we have to say, well, what is my part in this whole deal, in this dissatisfaction and estrangement. And so I think, but then if we try everything, we do all the assessing ourselves, okay, we're trying to be loving, we didn't criticize and judge, then we just have to let it go and be happy in our own world and keep on sending cards or whatever.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Judy has got, yes?
Yes. With all of these differences that we try to overcome, or that I have tried to overcome, when feeding the homeless in San Diego, we developed that project so carefully, and what a wonderful project, and really found out we're serving ourselves as Swami teach us. I found this from Swami's discourse. I think it's April of 2009. Swami asked the question, what does unity mean? It is not the combination of many, not the combination of many. It is the realization of the oneness, When you have mirrors all around you, he said, you see many forms, rather. These are all your different forms, but this is not the truth. The one who asks the question and the one who gives the reply, both are the same. All are one. The same person appears in many forms. To consider these forms as different from each other is a mistake. So for me, it's been music all my life, leading bhajans for nearly 50 years at our San Diego Center and other centers. And the work that I did when I was 17 or 18, I was our church congregational chorister. The chorister leading the congregation, the men on one side and the women on the other. At our church, the men and women sat separately. When I was very young, leading, of course, to Swami's teachings later on. But those hymns in the Christian tradition, bringing unity and joy to the people, was another basis for me of understanding unity and how we're all one. Music brings this oneness for me. So I keep singing.
Yeah, well said. Actually, music, it merges all identities and everyone can connect to it from the heart. So I think music has an important role. And we could see how Swami, one of the biggest things as Sai Bhajan's big contribution is that so many voices from different cultures, everybody coming together and singing in one voice. I think it just merges, melts all barriers and merges all identities. I think, yes, thank you for bringing that aspect of music into experiencing this realization of oneness. I think that's
And I thought that Judy had something to say too.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say, for me, it really starts with me and from within. And if I can have peace within my heart, and often there's a tension between the heart and the mind, and there's a fighting. And if in some way we can find connection in the heart and mind and alignment, that is so important. I also find that you can't pour love out from an empty cup. So for me personally, I need to fill my own cup by taking care of myself, by getting the sleep and drinking the water and having supported by my support system and eating healthy foods. And once I can feel grounded, connected, and whole, I can give to others. And I have more capability to handle the conflict if it arises around me, because I know there's something called emotional contagion. And we know that when someone's angry or upset, we can feel that and it's contagious. And if someone is loving and heart focused, we can feel that too. So for me, how can I take care of myself in a way that when I show up around others, I transmute or project loving energy. I know that my dog knows, Ruby knows when I'm anxious, she's anxious and she's pulling the leash all over. The animals are so sensitive, aren't they? And she and her calmness helps to calm me down. But if I'm overly anxious, that makes her a little wild, and it's a reflection back to me. Oops, I better look at myself and look at how I can quiet myself, slow myself down, so I can be more loving and calm, because others around me can feel that. So for me, that's really very important for me, and that's just what I wanted to share.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Again, I think as one important aspect of what you said is the is the caring, not just for the animals, but the care we receive from the animals around us. And I think that again expands this sense of unity, this realization of unity with everything, not just human beings or not just living beings, even, I guess. So it's that expansion. I guess there is no end to it, and but it has to begin somewhere. And you bringing in the aspect of animals, especially dogs. Those of us who are dog lovers would really appreciate that, and are able to respond to this spontaneous, unconditional love that comes from those beings as well. I just wanted to bring to, I know we have touched on many aspects, and I just want to come back to this unity we started with, and each of us have shared what it means to us. Of course, we have used Swami's words as the basis for it, because that's what allows us to validate our own feelings or our own thinking with what Swami is saying. I just wanted to ask Warner, just at this stage, to say, what does this, after listening to all of this and your own thoughts and your own feelings, what does unity mean to you? How do you see it?
Well, unity is to take care of something, right? As Judy said before, how can I take care of something or someone if I don't care of myself, right? So in my case, all the problems are related to the ego identity, the identification with body, sense, and mind. So after I saw this, I asked myself, why should I have to be identified with this body? And what is the ego? What is the I, which is identifying constantly with this body, mind, organism? And then it came about the word sacrifice again and again and again. And what is sacrifice? For me, sacrifice is a sacred action, because sacrifice comes from the word, at least in Latin, this is a sacred and fare. Fare means actions in Latin. So I started to ponder out, what is this action? What is this action which will bring about a kind of transformation in order to kill this ego or this identity? And what is this action? This action simply means surrender to a superior force, superior energy. You can call it Father, Mother, universal energy, cosmos, or Ahura Mazda, Allah, Jehovah. But all these names and forms of God, they are referring to one single thing, a unity. For example, if we analyze the word Jehovah, which means I am that I am, it comes again this, but I am what I am. I cannot understand that meaning. What is the meaning of this word? So again and again, to reflect. to meditate on this I, it cannot be the identification with this body, mind, organism. Because when I was a baby, I was I, but I wasn't identified with this body, mind, organism. So I tried to continuously think about, and then discover that putting myself into silence and separate myself from thoughts, that's the kind of sacrifice, that's the kind of action that it takes place to bring about this transformation, and at the same time brings about unity, because it's this ego that puts a barrier between me and the others. This is this ego that is always wanting something, which is fear something. So how can there be possible unification if I am fear something, or I am fear someone, if I am divided myself into thought, my heart, my emotions, my feelings, etc.? That's impossible. So this sacred action, it was a discovery for me, is simply surrender myself, surrender the idea that I am a separate entity and body, mind, organism to God. Of course, this is a day-to-day sacrifice. It's not something that you discover and that's all. No. It's a day-to-day life, because the ego is so powerful that continuously is sending you messages. I like this, I like that. I don't like this, I don't like that. So if you watch yourself every day, every moment, if you are able to do that, sometimes I am able to do it. Other times I am not able to do it.
Yes.
But I discovered,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I discovered that it's easier.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, I have to put myself into silence, because if I continue to think and think and think, thought after thought, it will be impossible. So this is a great sacrifice, to put myself, the idea I have of myself, the idea that I want this, I want that, to put it in the altar of sacrifice and give it to God, and He will do the rest. It's like the God Narayana, is Vishnu resting in the holy waters. So this is kind of me resting in the holy waters of God.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Warren. That was beautiful.
I mean, I think, when we started this webinar on unity, and so the obstacles or the challenges that we face are, I think we have identified some of them, and the main one is this word that you used just now, Warner, which is ego. And that's what stops you from sacrificing. And if at all anything needs to be sacrificed, it is the ego itself that needs to be sacrificed. And unless both are done, there cannot be love. And unless that love is there, you cannot have unity. So the path to have this, this realization, this experience of unity is, it may be laden with many challenges, but the principal ones are the ego and the attachment that Sam brought about body. It's not just shedding the body. I think Swami says it's shedding the identification with the body. That is more important. We can live. Body is a very important instrument through which it allows us to do wonderful things. It has to go at some point, but even when it is functioning 100%, if we lose that identity with the body and use it, bend the body, mend the senses, what Swami always says, and self is egolessness. He again says these words. So if we take care of this business of ego and make our lives dedicated to sacrificing that, love automatically flowers. It is there within us. It's not somebody needs to put love into us. We have it, but we ourselves restrict it. And if we can open our hearts and deal with each other with that love, having done the other bits, then unity automatically manifests in front of us.
Can I ask a question, Viru?
Yes, of course.
May I ask a question from the viewer, which is very pertinent, and that is, what should we all do to unite the various divisions facing Psi organizations worldwide at present? That is a very good question. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to make sure we had time for the question.
Sure. I mean, I'll put it across to our panelists. But I would make the opening salvo by saying that what is the organization? What is any organization? It's made of individuals like you and I. It's made of individuals that are there. If we are able to practice that, then the organization will set itself right. We don't need to worry about anything else, is what I would say. But I would request everybody, maybe because we're coming to an end of the session, probably if anyone wants to say something, maybe 30 seconds or 40 seconds on this aspect, please.
Again, who wants to unify what? Because if we are not unified in ourselves, it will be difficult to unify others. So we first should care about how is our mind and what is going on inside, because we can see the organization of like a garden. There are many plants, and all these plants, they have different timing for growing. So too, I am growing. I care about my growing, not others people's or other growing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know that Warner, you've spoken about what we can do internally, but I wonder if Sharon can just tell this one story about her ring, which Swami materialized for her, because it tells a story about how to unify outside ourselves also. We have to look inside and stop the ego, but this idea of being one with all other religions, all other peoples, looking outside also for unity. So,
Right.
Sharon, could you just tell
And
this
in
one
fact,
story?
when we asked him to bless our center, he said, yes, it's a beautiful center, love and everything, but he said the whole world's a center. We have to have that broad perspective. But anyways, I struggled with my religion, Judaism, and then Baba at the beginning. This was, 53 years ago. I've become hopefully a little wiser. I don't know. But anyways, all of a sudden he materialized a ring that was unusual, a little modest gold ring, which is more precious than diamond to me. And it had Arabic writing on it. And he said, oh, it's the name of God. And I said, oh, okay. And then we learned it says Allah, which is usually associated with Islam, which is an unusual gift for me, a Jewish woman. But then we turned it on its side and we noticed that the Allah becomes a very stylized but very definite Om, which of course is a sacred sound. And then we turn it to the other side, and I'm sorry we can't show you the pictures, and it looks like El, which is a stylized El, which is God in Hebrew. And then if you look at upside down, the Allah becomes I am or I am, which is total. Total, what is it? Eternal one or something. So it just shows it was a representation of something that we're all one, we're all united. We have to stop seeing the separation. And maybe with our organization, we just have to be united with one another and then reach out and then hope for the best.
Can I say something?
John has something to say, I think. Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to respond directly to the question that Judy raised, and that is, and it has to do with just on a practical level. I think we need to keep things simple. Just keep it simple. And related to that is, if what we say, if what we write, if what we do doesn't exemplify joy, humility, sacrifice, and a desire to hear more than we should have, then we should have the courage to just remain silent. If we are not representing joy, love, humility, and sacrifice, then what we have to say is really not that important. It really isn't. So we really should probably just, to be very direct, just shut up and be silent. Be quiet. And that's on a practical level. On a maybe a little bit more positive level, Swami says the Twam Eva Aham feeling is the Advaitic, non-dualistic, Sharanagati surrender based on the realization that all of this, Idam, is Vasudeva or God. Nothing less, nothing else. So I think about something like that, and I mean, that at that point, mentally, it drops me to my knees because I have nothing else to say. How do I respond to something like that? So I have to be, when I think about something like that, I just have to be quiet and listen to what somebody's heard. Accept it. Accept the pain. Accept the difference. Let it come in, and then let it wash over, and then project love. Just project love. At that point, I think that's the centerpiece of unity. Love is the centerpiece of unity. So, Sairam, I'll stop there.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John. I'm very aware that we are coming to the end of this webinar. I don't know how the 90 minutes roughly have passed. It was such a beautiful, engaging, uplifting, discussion, even, just listening for myself. And I'm sure I'm, reflecting the feelings of the participants who have been here. We heard a few questions from the participants and tried to answer as much as possible. I mean, even from this one webinar, we have seen so many other related, ideas and related aspects that have come up to discuss, be it ego, be it sacrifice, be it prayer, be it music, be it love. These are all the important aspects that we can dwell upon in hopefully more webinars that we could conduct. But I just wanted to ask if Judy, you could tell us, or at least read out we may not be able to answer them, but the different questions, if they are there, any more questions in the chat box, we can just read them out. And we thank all the participants, and hopefully we'll address them at some point.
Wonderful questions. Gail asked, does man have free will? Some say a blade cannot move without Swami doing it. Then why is there so much evil and lack of unity? That's a beautiful question, Gail.
Yeah.
Another question is from Sandra. Is compassion an expression of unity? Another question is, how would you recommend training surrender and evolving past the feeling of ego when someone's response to reaching out remains unrequited? There's some very, very beautiful questions. And then Kieran made the comment, unity can only happen when there is union of hearts with a focus on Swami. That really captures it. Union can only happen when there's union of hearts with a focus on Swami or any divine energy and figure that you prefer.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for those questions. What I would definitely say is thanks to Sam and Sharon, they conduct, every 2 weeks a satsang where we reflect upon and share our thoughts on questions like this that come to all of us, don't they? And so we would discuss these questions in the upcoming satsangs in the next few months. So any of you who would like to join, please get in touch with Sam. There'll be a link that will be provided, and you can join the satsangs where we're all part and parcel of the discussions there. So wonderful, and thank you very much. And with the polls, could we just maybe we won't have that much time to reflect on, but could we just go through what questions were asked and what responses have we got, please?
The most recent I see is for practices for developing unity, which practices would help you deepen unity consciousness? And the overwhelming, resounding response is conscious practice of seeing God in all. I don't see the other poll questions, so I won't read them, but that was beautiful. Conscious practice of seeing God in all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Maybe Partha could help us with the other poll questions and what the responses were, please.
Sure. On the reaction, reflection, resound, the question is when someone criticizes your faith or beliefs, your response is typically to, and again, the resounding one is to listen and try to understand their point of view. So that's one of the most chosen options amongst others, which actually is it's all about compassion, as we were discussing. The other one on the challenges and obstacles, the question was, what is the biggest obstacle to experiencing unity in today's world? The most chosen option there again is ego and attachment to being right. I think this was again covered in many points across the webinar. One other one is on the differences in views. The question is, when you encounter someone whose beliefs differ greatly from yours, what is your honest first reaction? And that's where people chosen desire to find common ground. So yeah, I think there are quite a few interesting observations, and that actually kind of leads us to the very important and pertinent question about the overarching one, which I'm going to share in a couple of seconds. If people can respond to that, that is actually about what one message that people would like to take away from the webinar today. So that's again will be put in a poll. As I put it, I would also like to pass the control over to you, Virubai.
Thank you. Just if I may, a request for everybody's indulgence. Dr. John Johnson, he wouldn't like me saying that he listed a set of helpful hints that we could utilize for daily practice in our lives. I would put it this way, that he got inspired to put them together. The inspiration obviously was given by the divine Swami. So John, maybe some aspects of those things that you have put up, John and Judy, between the two of you, you could share with everybody here, and that would be some take-home ideas for us to ponder upon and come back. So whichever ones you want to highlight, a few of them perhaps, please.
Thank you, Viewer. Sarah, I am going to keep this really brief and simple, but these were 20 guidelines that I pulled together after having a really intense experience with Swami about unity that I really felt I wanted to share. I would like to point to number 1, 3, and 4. 1 is we speak with love and respect both about our point of view and alternative points of view. 3 is we don't make assumptions about the intent or meaning of someone's statements. That's a really important one, because we often assume that what someone is saying, they're saying to us, and sometimes we assume that it's a statement about us, when in reality, sometimes I find that when people make statements, it's really about a hurt that they're feeling, and we have to be really careful about that. And then the last item is number 4. Focus on what you can come to agreement on, even if it only means that you continue to engage in respectful and loving dialogue. And I say this because my brother-in-law has been extraordinarily helpful to me during times of a really difficult time. But he keeps stepping up to the plate to help me out, despite our differences. And that's one of the things I think we need to remember and care for and remind each other that it's not about our differences. It's about stepping up to the plate for one another, being good to each other, being kind to each other, and allowing the differences to just fall away. Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John. I think those, all the 20, I find actually are very thoughtful and very helpful. There are good reminders. We could put it up in our studies or wherever on the wall and then keep reading it. And it reminds us every day to make an audit of self inquiry is the road to success. So we could use these definitely to expand our consciousness and to act in a practical way and reap the benefits of the joy, because at the end of it, what does unity do? It frees you from any kind of fear. It frees us from any kind of attachment. What is liberation except freedom? And what does freedom mean apart from being free from any of these? And that automatically brings us the bliss that we have all experienced in Swami's, in Swami's presence. That one moment when we merge with him, in the sense this is a living merger. He's there when Swami is saying, "Bangaru, when did you come?" Or just looking into your eyes and taking a letter from you, you are not thinking about anything else. There is instantaneous merger, and in that merger there is bliss. So unity leads us to bliss, and we are all, Swami says, you are all products of bliss. You're all packages of bliss. Let's experience that. It's such a missed opportunity, having had this life and having had Swami in our lives. If we are unable to experience that and get bogged down by the small and the sunrise. So I leave the floor to Sam to finish off with your final thoughts, and hopefully I have enjoyed this discussion. I hope everyone has enjoyed it as well, and I hope Swami has enjoyed. Swami used to enjoy these discussions when he was there. He loved it, and so I hope we have given a lot of uh, you know pride and bliss to Swami, who is our mother, father, and everything. So, Sam, I just would like you to say a few words in closure, and then we'll end with the Sai Gayatri chanting prayer.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Viru. So I want to thank everybody for being here, for the audience, which has been so nice that you've been waiting a long time quietly because all the mics have been turned off, but you've been responding in the polls and have been responding very nicely. So it was so nice for you to be with us. Here we have another poll, a takeaway from today's webinar. I see that we have some things. Reach out to someone with different beliefs. Practice seeing the divine in everyone.
That's 78%.
78% said practice seeing the divine in everyone I meet. Well, that's by far the biggest response from the audience. And that's what we should probably take away with. Practice seeing the divine in everyone I meet. So I want to thank the audience. I want to thank the panelists. Viru, you did a great job. You pinpointed some of the highest ideas that we should take away with. And it was so nice to see you. It's so nice to hear your voice and to see you. So nice to see all the panelists. And I think the panelists gave really good discussion on any points that Viru or any of us brought up. Beautiful for the panelists. And those behind the scenes, like Parda, who we've never seen actually. Maybe you could put a picture of yourself up so that we can see who you are. But Parda and Judy, who worked behind the scenes to make this webinar possible. So you should know that we're going to have a recording of this meeting both on Facebook and on YouTube. We'll get to the to give you the links to this in another letter, but that you should know that we're going to be showing this. Perhaps we'll be showing John Johnson's guidelines for good peaceful and loving communication between each other. We have to pay very special attention to that because the word is very powerful, more powerful than the sword. And when we speak sweetly and nicely, which Swami says is the way we should be speaking, that's the highest, most precious insight that we can have. So thank you so much for John and others that have helped John. I know that all of the panelists have helped John understand some of this meaning behind the guidelines.
And we're sorry that some people couldn't get on. Radha could not get on.
So we want to thank those people for their sacrifice, and sacrifice was a big word. So with that, with lots of love, a big hug to everybody. Thank you so much for joining and making this successful. Then we'll sign off. Viru, you did such a great job. With so much. And Judy and Gary, you did so nice. Everybody did a beautiful job. Warner, John Johnson, Viru, everybody. So with that, we'll sign off. And Gary will sing the Psychiatry, which will put an end to this meeting, and which says for us to always have in our minds the divine.
Sai Ram, thank you, Sam. Om Sai Ishvaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tana Sarva Prachodayata Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Jai Bolo Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba Ji Ki.
Jai
Jai.
Sai Ram.
Yay.
Thank you for being with us.
Love to all of you.
Sai Ram.
Yeah.